Hello, everyone. Just want to say happy to be back, and I'm looking to kind of get back into recording some more videos for you guys. So this first one is called The True Value of Humor. And so I kind of broke it down in three different benefits that being funny and basically being genuine, how that can potentially be a benefit to have in a conversation or in a relationship, whether it's at work, at school, wherever, whenever, with whoever, basically. And so the three different benefits are the first one is being more genuine slash relatable, and then I'll flesh them all out in a little bit. The second one is it makes you more memorable or significant for other people. And then the third is that it provides a sense of individuality. Okay, now let's go back into talking about why it kind of helps you become more genuine. So, there's an old saying about humor that with humor, there's always a sense of truth to it. And knowing who exactly you're around is very important when it comes to humor because, you have to get to know the people who you're around in order to figure out what exactly you could say or what you could get away with, especially nowadays where it feels like everything is kind of cut and dry or black and white. A good example of this, I would say, is, say whatever you want about Donald Trump's politics, whether or not you agree with him. I feel like even most people who don't agree with him, they at least see that he's funny as heck a lot of the times. You would see on TikTok how people would use the sounds of, say, what he says at speeches, and they're like, oh, he would be like the funniest drag queen or teenage girl. I'll embed like a little clip in this to kind of show that. But something that kind of stands out with him, and especially when he first ran for office in 2016, is that even though he has this crazy background where he really isn't relatable, given that, he grew up in the New York real estate industry and his dad was a multi-millionaire, he himself was a billionaire, and he's been in the public eye for 40 years, even before he ran for office. He really gathered an audience quite quickly during that 2016 primary because he found an ability to just be funny off the cuff and kind of come up with these one-liners that show that, hey, this guy, he's not like a canned politician, like he used to always go after Jeb Bush because Jeb Bush was like a robot up there where, he would just say the kind of standard political answers, not try to be too outrageous with anything he says. And, it's kind of funny because he did kind of bully him a little bit, and people still latched on to that, and people kind of saw a bit of truth with what he was saying when it came to him talking about the standing of America and with how he went after a lot of the political candidates. And it's something that, I'm not going to go too deep into the political side. I'll save that for a later video, given that that's what I'm studying. But, people talk about charisma or, a type of aura that comes with people. And humor is a very good way to kind of get that out and show that, hey, this is an actual real person that, it's kind of, they could be crazy sometimes, but hey, at least would have that versus a kind of canned, almost like caricature because it feels less real. And this kind of goes into my second point about how humor makes you more memorable or more significant. There's so many times that, not, again, goes back to who you're talking to, but if you could find some funny, like, off the cuff one liner to just, it could be about whatever topic, honestly, but if you find a way to kind of integrate that into your conversations, you become a lot more memorable, and people find you funny, and they'll be like, oh, we need to see what he's up to, we need to get him to come out and hang out and all that good stuff, because a part of, especially, becoming an adult, things become stale. People go do their 9 to 5s and they go home, and they don't have much time to do much outside of that and try to hang out with other people, so things can get kind of boring. So having that level of humor can be kind of a benefit, and makes you definitely more memorable to be around. And kind of another way to think about that is looking at potential career success. And so, first off, let me just say, I'm not saying to be this, oh, I gotta make a joke all the time, no matter what, everything's gotta be a joke. No, okay, everything has to be within some level of moderation, because if not, you turn into the kind of office jester, the friend who, you could take less seriously because they're not going to be very serious. So it's something that it definitely helps in the office and in career success. I'm not saying that's like the most sole thing that matters, but definitely going off with, say, you're up for a promotion against someone else, and you show that individuality and show that level of personality that someone else doesn't have, and say you guys have similar success, you would be more likely to get picked because you have that level of interpersonality that the other person won't have. And so, an example I came up with this was Michael Scott in The Office. And I know what, I'm sure what you guys would say, oh, Caleb, that's a TV show. I don't know if that's the best analogy, but think about how The Office was so great because of the way the writers made it seem real. And it's something, it went on for like 9 seasons, and I think Michael Scott or Steve Carell was there for like 6 of them. And basically, everything felt human, and so that's a big reason why there is so much popularity with the show, because other people who work in sales could be coming home and they'd be like, oh, I had a kind of rough day, work drama, all that other stuff. I just come home and see something that has low stakes, has nothing to do with my job, and people can be funny. There's times in the show where even Michael Scott, as kind of goofy and laid back of a character as he is, he had those moments where he could turn it on and become serious. Like, one that comes to mind is when when he created his own paper company, and he had a meeting with the CFO, basically talking about ways to get bought out and go back to work at the office. And he was very serious, and it's something that's kind of unexpected that we don't see very often, but it shows just how real and how valuable he was and how he ended up as manager in the first place. The third and last point, and I kind of briefly hit on it in the first 2, is it provides a sense of individuality. It distinguishes yourself away from your peers and away from other people. And it's something that, I know that there's like jokes or memes that are online that it's like everyone knows, but it's something, if you kind of develop that sense of humor away from the mainstream kind of garbage that is out there, that it kind of is such an asset to have. And it also helps with the sense of finding people who you could be around and you could be comfortable with enough to actually have lasting, lifelong friendships. And it's something that, I know humor isn't exactly something that people are going to get immediately. There's times that even if I'm talking or if I'm recording, that sometimes I could be very serious. And it's something that I have to kind of step back and teach myself and be like, hey, not everything needs to be as serious. Like, it's okay to have some fun and to be light with some things. And it's something that, I'm still trying to work on. And it's something that I think with bringing back the Caleb Sentence channel will help me with. But, it's something that just over time you come to practice it. You kind of learn exactly how your personality works and how you could kind of integrate some jokes in there. And I'm not going to go too in depth as far as how to do that exactly. I could link some channels in the description to kind of help out with that go like more in depth on this. But it's something that is definitely an asset in a way that can help you improve as a person. And so a good example is Charisma on Command, and I know that the creator of that channel, he's been kind of in and out as far as posting videos, which again, no shade, because I'm the same way. So I'll definitely link that channel in the description. And I guess kind of to wrap up this first video back, that I think humor is really so important because it helps bring a sense of human connection by being that genuine person, by being kind of your true self and showing, hey, this is me. I can be serious at times. I could be funny at other times. And just putting that self forward is a way that you help find your people. You help find success with it. You start networking and building connections, whether it's, with friendships, in the workplace. I don't know if, it depends on if you do like company retreats. And it's a way to just live your life to the fullest. And that's kind of the main purpose behind this channel. And I know it's been kind of inconsistent with uploads, but it's something I'm looking to get back into doing more as I have a bit more free time now. And yeah, that's basically it. Thank you so much for listening if you got this far. And be sure to stay tuned for whatever videos come next. Take care.